What's going on? Will Freeman, RevolutionaryLifestyleDesign.com, talking to you today about the release of my new course, How to Play the Game of Life. And I can say with certainty this is the best thing that I've ever done. It's 11 hours of pure concentrated game straight to the brain, talking about everything I've learned about lifestyle design on a broad strategic perspective, as well as the nature of the world. Since 2012, when I first started Revolutionary Lifestyle Design, course release time right now is 2023. I started when I was 30. I'm 40 years old now. And so this is a culmination of a decade's worth of wisdom within this business, including um, coaching clients, myself, and my close friends, having lived in every country, experienced everything, put together strategies, systems, tactics, projects for giving you the best possible life without you having to think about anything. All the example goals are laid out, the example projects across every discipline, fitness, wealth, dating, you name it, it's all laid out. And not only that, but I'm going to show you how you can see life as a game, to be able to see it, taste it, touch it, smell it, and be able to see through the nature of the world and reality, and see why you were created, see why God created you, see how the world evolved, to be able to see why there's suffering, to be able to see through all the narratives, to be able to understand yourself on a deep level, and to be able to understand others on a deep level. You're going to be able to read the code of the world at the end of this, because it's not just a decade of uh, my personal development business in terms of coaching people, responding to emails, the network of friends that I've built, but it's a 20-year study of personal development, if not a 27-year study of spirituality, personal development, all these things. So this really is the best thing that I've ever done. If you like my videos, my articles, my other courses, and there's going to be a lot more courses coming out on all the different specific games in life, like fitness, income, wealth protection. But this is the broad strategic course and game plan for all of the games, for the understanding of the game of life, and then a strategic outline for all the other games, how to set the goals, what goals to set, example goals, projects, tasks, and then putting it all together in the TickTick organizational app. So your entire life is just planned out at the highest level. You're not thinking about, oh, I need to do this thing, I need to do that thing. How do I do this thing? What do I do when I get to this country? Where am I going to live? Where's the optimum country? Um, what do I do for my dating? Do I want a girlfriend? By the end of this course, if you actually do the work, you're going to have all that. And I made it as easy as possible for you by laying out every example you can think of in terms of what games to play, example goals that I've used or my clients have used, example projects, how to set up your projects, how to delegate your projects to team members. I've made it as easy as humanly possible for you to take all that crowdsourced wisdom and just either use those goals directly or tweak a few country goals to your own customization. So let me just get into what you'll learn. Okay, and keep in mind this is a monster. So you're going to learn how God created the world and why sin, temptation, evil, and death exist in the world, how to understand the true nature of the world, how you incarnated and why, what you really are, how to understand yourself as a player in the game of life, how you experience life as a series of state changes, how you chase state in everything you do, how your experience of life is completely subjective, how you've been programmed through the word game, why words aren't real, how powerful people control you through word games, how concepts control your reality, how concepts are created by real world rituals, how real world rituals control the minds of the masses, why money, government, nations, products only exist between your ears, how you define reality through words and concepts, how reality only exists through agreement, how your belief system works, why most of what you believe is a dead man's programming, understanding that most people's beliefs are just rich man's lies, how to understand your character in the game of life, how your persona is literally an actor's mask, how shame and acceptance affect you and control your behavior, What happens after you die? Direct evidence of life after death. The exact course of your soul's journey after death through numerous illustrations of near-death experiences of people that have died and come back, as well as examples of those. Why your death is more important than your life. How to view life like a game and why it's important. What your spiritual purpose is. What your worldly purpose is. How to play the game of life. Why you need to create games to play within the game of life. How consistent state is the purpose of all your games. How consistent state comes from filling your voids. How your voids create your values. How your values determine what games you want to play. The 6 categories of games to play within the game of life. How to define a good game. Why a good game needs teammates, barriers, and opponents. Why you get bored of games when you have total control. 64 examples of different types of life games to play. How to create your ideal life. How to create goals out of games. How to choose your games and set your goals. How to view your goals as game trophies. How to use projects as action steps to achieve your goals. Lastly, how to create your ideal weekend, weekday, and vacation days in detail with numerous examples of those specific days that I've created as samples for you with pictures, and then you're able to create that yourself. All right, so if you were to get the course, here's what you would take action on. So that's what you would learn. Here's what you'd actually be taking action on, because this isn't just a course for you to go through like another YouTube video or maybe another course that you've watched and not take action on. This would be extremely important to take action on, because this is literally your life. There is nothing more important than your quality of life as well as the quality of your afterlife. And if you don't do the work on it, you're going through life unstrategically. You are going to be less happy without a plan. It's impossible for that not to be the case. The problem is, for most people, life at the highest levels doesn't come with an owner's manual, and it's constantly changing. We're in the midst of a technological revolution with the internet, with AI, with central bank digital currencies, with the Great Reset, with ESG taxes that are going to come through the pipes, with 15-minute cities. This stuff is evolving very fast. So not only did you need an owner's manual when you were born, but you need an updated version of that for the new game. And that's what this is. And that is going to be impossible for you to do on your own, because you're just one person. And you haven't had access to my network or my clients or my actual experiences doing this stuff. You know, I left Canada almost a decade ago and have lived on almost every continent, not just visited, almost every continent. And I have clients that have lived on every continent, 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs in my circle, guys from every background, every race, every country, as well as all the guys that I've been speaking to in the comment section and emails. I couldn't even count the amount of people that I've had conversations with in regards to lifestyle design and tested out different systems. So this stuff is all tried, tested, and true, as well as the knowledge and the insight. You know, there's years where I'm doing, even to this day, 4 to 8 hours of client conversations a day. So there would be no way for you to have that on your own. And by not having that, you are literally sacrificing the most important thing in your life, which is consistent happiness and the ability to fulfill your potential and achieve your outcomes. And it would be impossible for you to do that on your own. So the importance of taking action on something like this is extremely high. You know, it's probably the most important thing that you can do to have the strategy and tactics for an ideal life. So this is not a course to just sit through and not do anything. The first 80% of the course is learning. 70 to 80% is learning and gaining insights, which is going to blow your mind and completely change your experience of reality. And you know, if you're used to the regular truth pilled and men's self-improvement rehashed generic stuff that has been on forums for the last 20 years, this is about 30 levels deeper than that. And it goes beyond just the nature of this world. It goes into the nature of the next world as well. So you're really not going to find this information anywhere else, and you're going to get a bunch of revelations. You can sort of relax for the first part of the course and gain the insight, but in the final sections of the course, it is about utilizing that and making sure that you are using that to fulfill both of your purposes on this planet, as well as create as good a consistent state for yourself and the ones that you care about. And that's very important. So Here's what you'll take action on if you choose to get the course: setting your income, investment, credit, and wealth protection goals, setting your lifestyle, network, dating, and personal branding goals, setting your residency, base, citizenship, expat banking goals, setting your fitness, health, TRT, and anti-aging goals, setting your property, vehicle, clothing, and tech goals, setting your organization, mission, security, and spiritual goals, planning out the conditions required to create your ideal days, um, learning how to structure your ideal days, how to time block your ideal days, choosing your base one, base two, residencies, vacation spots, and budget, creating your ideal weekday, weekend, and vacation days in detail, and learning how to take action on creating your ideal days and actually doing it. And you're going to have all of my example goals, which you could just use if you want, all my example weekdays, weekends, vacation days, which I've listed based in different cities, different women that you're dating, different income levels, different, some days are based on 4 hours of work, some are 10, some weekends are zero work, vacation days, zero work. You have all the various different examples for you to just either use or to tweak in a different city or kind of a different residence. You also get all the, links to all the pricing of the condo, the price of living in the city, everything, so that you can see it, feel it, and make it a reality. And then it's just a matter of getting the money and getting on the flight, um, to go over there and do it. And with that being said, there's none of these goals that you have to do. For example, if you're already fit, that's not something you have to plan out. None of this is mandatory. It's just basically the 14 different categories and goals for each, which you can choose to do based on what your values are. And a lot about this course is going to teach you what your real values are and how they come from voids, as opposed to the values that you were programmed to think are your real values. Like a company's mission statement, right, is just a couple sentences of generic garbage. Like, we value our customer, da, 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 da. No, the owner values making money, or he values some kind of domination of the world, like Steve Jobs. And that's most people. They have these values that they should believe. I should eat a salad. I should do this. I should get legally married to someone that's mediocre in my age back home and live a boring ass middle class life. The reality is, your actual values are what wake you up before your alarm, where you're actually excited and inspired to do them. And sometimes it's being an international playboy. Or, on the other hand, maybe you are at an age where you really do want a family and you want two beautiful daughters. But what's important is to understand what you actually want. And I teach you how to understand your actual values by going into what your voids are and starting to rank those voids in order of priority and what's going to be devoted the most time to. And that's how you know it really is a void and therefore values, when you're willing to devote the time to that. So there will be some of these goals that maybe are not a fit for you and that you should get rid of. Or I'll be showing you how to get rid of some of your other goals that you're actually not inspired about, and they're actually dragging you down and preventing you from hit the goals that you're really inspired about. Like, for example, learning you want to move to Latin America, so you're studying Spanish in advance, but it's not a pain point right now. So that might have to be something to get rid of until you actually live there and decide, okay, I need this to get by in this country, or there's enough English speaking women at English speaking restaurants where I actually don't need it, like is the case in Southeast Asia. It would be an actual waste of me to take 2 to 3 hours of time a day to learn the local language when I can get by on English, when there's enough English speaking women, etc. And it would be really boring and drag my lifestyle down, and it would be costing me 2 to 3 hours of money making business time, just as an example. So I show you how to customize everything based on your voids and values, and more importantly, understanding your voids and values and accepting them, and accepting that you can be motivated by status. You can be motivated by women. You can be motivated by being physically dominant because you are coming from a void. You were bullied when you were younger, or you were very poor like I was when you were younger, and you felt the pain of financial insecurity and the lack of status. As opposed to some therapy bullshit that's telling you how to live with the actual pain, and why it's security to not need to solve that. This is about actionable lifestyle design, where you're taking your pain and you're going, how do I actually solve this pain point, instead of trying to justify how to live with it. How do I solve it? And giving you permission to solve it. If your pain point is women, it's giving you permission to aggressively solve that and hire perhaps someone like us or another company to automate your dating apps, Instagram, build out your personal brand, etc. All right, so we dive really deep into that, and here's exactly what you get in the course, in addition to what I just said about what you'll learn. So you get 10 course section videos for a total of 11 hours of content broken up into 10 sections. You get an audiobook with over 11 hours of content. So I put that together for you. I combine all the 10 different sections so that if you're on your motorcycle or you're walking or you're away from your desk, you can put the headphones on and listen to it. You got a 123-page PDF ebook, which I recommend you reading on a computer as opposed to your phone, but you can get it on your phone as well. Video walkthrough of all my goals and projects. So I go into my actual organizational app, TickTick, and do a video screen share showing you how I have everything laid out. You get an example spreadsheet of 100 decade goals within 14 different games of life. Example list spreadsheet of 23 example yearly goals within 14 different games of life. Example list spreadsheet of 70 projects within 14 different games of life. Decade goals worksheet, yearly goals worksheet, yearly projects worksheet, a list of 23 ideal cities to set up your bases and the ideal time to live there, list of 26 ideal cities to vacation to and the ideal time to visit, an example ideal weekday in Bangkok, Thailand, illustrated with pictures, prices, the condo that you're living in. You've got the girls that you're waking up next to, or the girl. You've got where your office is. You've got where the gym is with pictures. You've got the whole vibe exactly of what it's going to be like to live there. Same thing in Batumi, ideal weekday, ideal weekend in Bali, where you're taking a motorcycle tour up to an amazing resort in Moonduke, ideal example day, a vacation day in Playa del Carmen with pictures. And by the way, these are all things that I've done. So I'm taking some examples from my life of my actual reality and giving that to you guys as examples. Plenty of other places that I've been, but those four there for you to either use or to tweak for if you want to go to Sao Paulo or you want to go to Bucharest instead of Batumi. I give you ideas about other places to go as well for you to fill in your own example goals. You also get an ideal day planning worksheet, an ideal weekday worksheet, an ideal weekend worksheet, and an ideal vacation worksheet for you to fill out all your ideal days. All right. So let me tell you how this course will benefit you. Okay. Because now you know what you get, but let me tell you how to benefit you. You'll be able to see through the matrix. You will have superhuman insight, and you are not getting this in any of these other rehashed, truth-pilled YouTube channels that just figured some of this shit out 2 years ago and now are supposedly an expert on it. This is deep, deep, deep game. As somebody that has been awake to the truth for probably 25 years and has been doing this professionally for the last decade. All right. You'll have superhuman insight. You will be literally reprogrammed and you will be reborn in the spirit of your creator. Even if you already are a believer, you'll be reborn and refreshed in terms of knowing what your creator's original design for this world is and what his purpose is for you here. You will also have total clarity on both your spiritual and material purpose. You will have total clarity on your path because I give you a middle path between degenerate hedonism and an ascetic spiritual life in a monastery where you wouldn't be able to fulfill, most likely, that lifestyle due to just the amount of sacrifice that would be required. So you have a middle path where you're getting your spiritual wins and you're assuring your salvation, but you're also able to indulge in some things like alcohol, in some things like dating women prior to marriage, some of the smaller sins, as long as we are attempting to tithe, attempting to do good works, and attempting to be doing significantly more good things than we would be doing some things that are considered sins by many faiths. Okay, so you have total clarity on both your purposes. I'll show you how to see life as a fun game for perhaps the first time in your life, or the second time, the first time being in childhood where you have all these different games to play and life is exciting. And then as you get older, life gets boring. You work a shitty job. Now you as an entrepreneur have got yourself out of the shitty job, but the business is harder than the job and every day's a grind, I'll show you how to change the perspective on that and see it all as a game and be excited to play the game and be excited to play multiple different games and to level up and the structure for leveling up and all things related to that topic. You'll have unshakable faith in God. You'll have a game plan to get to heaven. You'll have every goal set you need to win the game of life by the time you finish this course and take action on it. You will have a game plan to achieve your goals in hyper specificity. You'll have a game plan to live your ideal day every day, and you'll be able to play life like a video game. All right. So wrapping up, let me tell you what you will be able to feel after you watch this course and after you take action. All right, you will be able to see the whole game through superhuman insight. With superhuman insight, inwardly smiling to yourself, knowing you've uncovered priceless wisdom, knowing you are immune to all narratives that don't serve directly benefit you, and you will be able to see all the narratives in real time, even things that you can't see right now. Even if you think you're a truth pilled, you will be able to see through all of it because you don't know what your blind spots are until someone points them out to you, and that's what I do in this course. And you will feel tremendous mental freedom knowing you have the keys to unlock the door of all your potential. You'll be walking around in a daze after having this massive infusion of insight, and you will be smiling because you'll just start to see how clear it all is and how simple it is and how much insight you have. And you'll feel like you have a superhuman power of knowledge to be able to literally see through people and predict their behavior and see all the different narratives that are coming at you that you might have been trapped in before, and where you can release those. You can release your bondage to those and have true mental freedom to be able to live life in exactly the way that you want. And a lot of what's probably holding you back right now is you're living in a way that you don't want to do, thinking you should have to do certain things, when in reality you actually have no obligations. And I point out all those blind spots to you, and all those blind spots and how the narratives behind them are physically weighing you down. They're physically weighing on your subconscious and depressing you down. So when you remove those, you're like a coiled spring that's been pushed down, and you rise up, and you might get, after doing this, 6 months, a year, 2 years of massive productivity out of it, because that's usually how it works. It usually works from a compression period and then into an explosion period. And that's what I believe I'll be able to deliver to you, and what you'll be able to feel. Okay, you'll feel incredible inspiration and anticipation about the future. Your body will be buzzing with energy and excitement, knowing you're playing the right games for your ideal lifestyle, and that you have all the goals necessary to win those games and all the action steps needed to achieve those goals. You'll feel completely solid and in total control of your life. You'll be in the driver's seat of your life, where you're no longer reactive to events. You're proactively controlling them in advance. You'll no longer feel the weight of things you should be planning for, with vague, poorly fleshed out goals subconsciously weighing you down. Instead, you will feel light, you will feel inspired, and you will feel in total control, knowing you've brought all your ideal outcomes to light and there's a concrete game plan to achieve them all. Okay, you'll feel amazement after you've created your ideal lifestyle in detail. By the end of this course, you will have created all your goals for the next decade, all your yearly goals, all the projects for the year to achieve those. And you will create all your example weekdays and all your weekend days to where you know exactly where you're living, you know what the condo looks like, you will know everything in hyper detail. And then you will feel amazed at how attainable your ideal life is. You will be able to see that living luxuriously in an exotic location might only cost you $6,000 a month. And I'm talking about, well, you can buy a car, but you could also, lease a luxury vehicle. You can buy a condo, or you can rent a condo. So let's say you're renting and leasing, and you're doing that in, let's say, Bangkok, Thailand, and you're going out frequently and you're ordering all your meals in, and you are spending time with, either for free or either with a allowance, let's say, with some of the hottest women in the city, and you're able to do that for under $6,000, $7,000 a month, right? And you should already be doing six figures right now, or on the way to do it, or seven figures, even better, eight figures. And if you are, you can do that today. You can see, like, shit, I could be there next month. This is all attainable. I know the visa service to get hooked up with, or I could go to Eastern Europe, or I could go to Latin America, and I can literally be living, luxuriously on every level, with assistance, with all these things, with all my chores delegated, being above the business for $6,000-7,000 a month in terms of total spend, you will see with amazement that all this is possible, and it's a lot easier than you think when you see it all mapped out in detail for you, and everything is laid out in accordance for what you would need to make that happen. All right, so that's going to be a massive feeling of amazement. It was for me, and my life completely changed when, instead of just starting to set um, sort of general vague goals of like, I'd like to live here and I'd like to make this amount, I would set goals for, I'm going to live in this place, and I would look on Airbnb, or I'd look on one of the websites to say I'm living in this exact condo here, and I know how much it costs, and I know how much um, the motorbike costs, and I know how much the food costs, right? And I know what the weather is, and I can go on Google Maps and Street View, look at the location. I can watch the walk-in tours on YouTube. I can do absolutely everything except be there in person to know in advance what that lifestyle is going to be like, and specifically where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing in terms of goals. And then I started to plan out my ideal day in terms of what I'm waking up to do, what time I'm doing it, whom I'm speaking to, the kind of girl I want to be dating, where I'm going to be doing it. Okay, I'm doing it in this, 4 or 5 star hotel room, or I'm doing it in a duplex condo that I'm renting, and I'm working out of the living room, and then I'm taking the motorcycle over to here for coffee in the morning. You get the picture. That hyper specific detail will show you that it's completely attainable, and then you'll be like, well, what the fuck am I doing not moving towards that? What am I doing here still in New York in the winter? Or maybe you've already moved abroad and you're in Eastern Europe for the winter, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? I should be here for the summer season, then I should be Southeast Asia or Latin America for the winter season. I need a base two. Base one is just not enough because the weather's not good enough. And then we go into depth on that about how to do your base one and base two and structure the ideal lifestyle. And you'll be sitting there in amazement thinking you have all this and not deal with any winter, any sunny season, and have it be perfectly attainable. And that's going to give you this incredible um, feeling of that being within your reality. So you'll know which exotic city you're living in, the high-rise condo, the cost. You'll be able to feel the sunlight beaming into your corner suite as it gently wakes you up in the morning without an alarm clock. And you'll see that corner suite. You'll feel the heat on your body. You'll be able to smell the freshly brewed coffee your foreign girlfriend has already made for you as you glide into your expansive living room with floor-to-ceiling windows and a panoramic view of the city. Once you've planned out your ideal lifestyle, you'll be able to see the aliveness of the city from behind the steering wheel of your dream car. You'll be able to smell the leather of the exotic luxury vehicle. You'll be able to turn your head and see this beautiful woman from Thailand, or from Bucharest, or from Tbilisi, or from Playa del Carmen, or from Guadalajara, sitting next to you en route to dinner at a 5 star restaurant, knowing this is a fantasy to most, but just another weekday to you. You will be able to feel the wind flowing through your hair as you take your motorcycle up to the mountains for the weekend in Bali, winding through jungle roads overlooking a majestic forest, with your dream woman clutching desperately onto you as you aggressively lean into a hairpin turn, music blasting through your headphones, all the while knowing this is not a vacation. This is just another weekend in your life. You will feel completely liberated when you picture your future vacation and what it will look like, knowing that you will just be able to get on a plane and go anywhere at any time, and that you have total freedom. You can picture the beautiful beach town, the friendly locals you pass by on your leisurely morning walk to the beach, the white sand under your feet, the warm air and the bright sun shining down on you, the cool ocean breeze as you casually walk along the beach, admiring all the beautiful, exotic Latina women sunning themselves in thongs, while all your old friends are stuck back in the same fucking dead end jobs, back in New York, back in Toronto, back into whatever boring city you grew up in, suffering through the winter in their home country while you're living your best life. And you will be able to see into the future to your I've made it moment, where you can't believe this is your real life and you have to pinch yourself to see if you're dreaming. where you're dizzy with the success of your business, financial security, beautiful women, and being able to live and travel in luxury anywhere you want at any time. And I'm speaking to you from experience. I have had all of those moments myself. I've been abroad for almost a decade. I've been financially successful for almost 2 decades. I have had all of these moments myself, and they are absolutely tremendous. Now, I'm not bullshitting you and saying this type of thing lasts forever. You have to keep creating new games. But when you first get to a new city, or you first get to a new level of income, or you first get to a new level of a girl, and all that stuff starts to combine at once, your head is spinning for like 6 months. Like you can't believe that's your real life. And when you go back to the grind and you think about the grind from before that you used to do in that moment, it feels like a million lifetimes ago. Even though when you were grinding it out, time went by so slowly. It felt like it was so slow. And to start getting the wins, it was so slow to get the business up and operational, so slow to get out of the job. And it felt like, a million years would go by and you would never get there. But when you actually get there and it becomes real, you almost can't believe it. And your past life just seems like um, a hallucination. It seems like a million lifetimes ago. You don't even recognize it. And then it becomes your new reality. And those are the moments to live for. It's the moments up in Munduk Heavenly Villa in Bali with a beautiful Russian girl that you met in Canggu, in a duplex suite on literally on the tops of trees overlooking the mountains, that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, whether you stay with her or not. That's really what it's about. That's what the game of life is about, at least on the material level, as well as fulfilling your mission, helping others, and from a spiritual perspective, tithing, doing some charity work when you can, and having a constant conversation with God to make sure that you are pleasing Him, and you're able to get that soul benefit from pleasing God and making Him happy, as well as ensuring your place in the afterlife, which I break down for you in the course, and you're able to actually feel what that's going to be like, taken from thousands of near-death testimonials and articles and videos written, as well as I give you links to all of those, as well as some of the experiences of the saints across different faiths, and just an explanation of how this whole spiritual game works, and how to make sure that when we're talking about playing and winning of the game of life, we're not just talking about the worldly and material game, but we're focusing on how to win the spiritual game, as well as the instructions for it. And I think it's the first of this kind in terms of a middle path, because most instructions are either for just pure secular life or a pure spiritual life. If it's a pure spiritual life, they're telling you not to drink and not to have girls and all these things that are very difficult to do in the world that we're living in, and within the temptations, and the fact that most women don't want a traditional marriage anyways, right? So we are giving you a balanced middle path for you to be able to not sacrifice the things you like, but maybe just do them a bit in moderation, but also get those spiritual wins and feel like God is pleased with you and have the self-esteem that is in accordance with that. And I think that you will truly, truly feel all of these amazing things that I just described after you've watched the course and taken action on it. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to become a true player in the game of life by using these hyper applicable system strategies and tactics that I perfected over a decade through rigorous field testing on myself, my friends, and my successful coaching clients? Or would you prefer to continue stumbling unstrategically by trial and error and trying to do it all yourself? If you're ready, and if you want to become a true player, and you want my help and the help of all my clients and friends in terms of the crowdsourced wisdom that's in here, go ahead and get the course and learn how to see life as a game, how to understand the game, how to play the game, and most importantly, how to win the game of life. God bless you.